Alright, so this is a game against Mendel against Pepe on Naiko's Refuge. And they're talking about balance of Goo, which is obviously OP and needs to be nerfed, and humans are too weak. Pepe got the best corner in bottom left, which can, give him double extractors on both locations here and here. I think this is single extractor, and Mendel is going for standard ASM split, and yeah, it's a game of waiting for while they build up their army. And Pepe, I'm gonna call him Pepe, even though I think he's Pepe. Pepe, I don't know, just sounds right to me. And he went for factory refinery. I think on this map you can afford to do it the other way. I think you can afford to open double refineries. It would be extremely hard to punish unless you're going for a rush, and I think scouting should pretty much. I mean, a Grey Goo player needs to find you soon, and like he cannot go just go across the map and rush you. So the only consideration for you would be if he's here, if he's on the same plane as you and he scouts across towards your location and then rushes. But you can scout against that. Although to be perfectly honest, I have done that. I like, you don't really. I think you can cross the map without losing any mining time as a Mother Goo player. So I actually have done that. I have done that against Beta, and I have done it against Human. And I generally done it not to rush them. I done it to confuse them. And in the case of Beta player, I done it so they would have harder time finding me. Pepe opens about right. I mean, as greedy as possible, and Mendel goes for one of his trademark shenanigans. What? I don't understand. He's split into four mothers next to Pepe's base. And why? Why? I don't understand. I mean, those don't seem like solid shenanigans. Those seem like put yourself behind shenanigans. And Pepe is going so greedy. It's like Spike Monchi killed me once with a strategy. I was playing with him, and I was like, we play together quite a bit, and we're sort of friendly. So I didn't really scout him. I was just like, I'm gonna beat him anyway. I'm gonna beat him without scouting. What can he possibly do to me? And he just went 5 extractors right away. I don't know if you could actually hear. I moved so far away from the microphone when I was discussing that. But yeah, I didn't scout Spike, and Spike went 5 refinery before anything else, and he just built so many tier 1. I was like, oh my god, and then I just died. Also, Red King just went online. I bet he saw me online and he went online, and he hopes he's gonna snipe me. But I'm not playing. I'm not playing. And actually, this is oh god, analyzing 20 minutes replay and going on a tangent. But this is pretty annoying. Like, this is one of the things I don't like about Grey Goo, because you're gonna come online, right? And people on a friend list, they see that you come online, and instead of doing what they do in StarCraft and saying, "Hey, bro, why don't we play some custom games?" they go and try to snipe you on ladder, which I think is not very friendly. And I mean, Red King is even worse. I asked Red King, like when I asked Dallas, for example, to play some games, he plays, but Red King never plays me. He just wants my ladder points. He's a mini. Anyway, so Pepe goes for 4 refinery and then starts building factories. And Mendel is trying to banish him. Oh, is that why he moved Mazrago here? Then it's a mistake, he should have kept it here and then moved it here later when he has army. Because I think he brought it here so he can sit on, he can attack, you know, do some kind of timing, not necessarily to kill but to harass. And maybe bring down Mazrago and sit on enemies' refineries and extractors while you're attacking, while your army is fighting their army, your Mazrago prevents their extractors from mining. He's not even doing that, so I really don't understand what he wants to do here there. He just missed one of the things as big as a war. That's all the company. Sort of missed mining by one unit of mining. And Pepe is going revolvers, which is as I discussed. Oh, I discussed it. I think it's a mistake because I think tridents are much more effective as another game unit. The only time you need revolvers is if you're defending a large mother rush, large protein rush, or yeah, mother rush. But actually, this doesn't have armor. I don't know. But yeah, revolver is not all that useful in the beginning of the game. And in fact, Red King had a period where, before Qualifier 2, which he did really well in, Red King had a period where he would lose to pretty much all goose he played. Well, not all goose he played, but he would lose a lot more to good players than he was losing before. And I actually watched his replays and analyzed them, and what was making him lose more was the fact that he used to be building predominantly tridents in the beginning of the game, but he started building like half and half tridents and half revolvers. And revolvers are, you know, they have a lot less HPs than tridents, and that's a big deal. And even if it wasn't a big deal in the beginning of the game, it's a pretty big deal as the game progresses, because you want to keep your starting units alive. And you want to keep them alive so they would act as a meat shield for when your Gladii come out or when your Howitzers come out. And obviously you have limited production, so you have to there is this bank not only of resources that you need to acquire, but there is also this bank of an army, bank of tier 1 units that when Gladii start coming out, these tier 1 units would serve as a shield. So you can, you know, right away take some kind of aggressive or defensive action as soon as your Gladii pop. But even if revolvers were effective early game, they would still not be worth it because they compromise this timing for when your Gladii come out. They do not serve, revolvers do not serve as a particularly good shield for Gladii. So you need to be doing tridents as soon as you can. So for the reasons I just mentioned. So that was harassment. That's good, but there are two things, there are two problems I have with Mendel's build. First of all, as I mentioned, there is no particular reason to bring your Mazargos over here. The only reason, as I mentioned, is to prevent mining while you attack with the units, but he's not doing that. And even then, you would only need one Mazargo here, and Mendel has two Mazargos here. That's my first problem with Mendel's strategy. My second problem with Mendel's strategy is how aggressive he is being. I mean, he should be able to see here that Pepe has already several heavy sentinel units, so harassment is pretty much nearly over. The only reason to be bringing more army here is to be fighting Pepe's tier 1 revolver army, but that is a losing battle because even though revolvers are dying, the sentinels are pushing up and they will push your striders away, and that would mean that you are behind economically, because you cannot be, as a good player, you cannot be on the same amount of mothers as your opponent is refineries, and that is what's happening. So you know, it might look like at the moment all the extra protein that Mendel would bring in would help him defeat this army, but defeating this army is at this moment irrelevant, because this whole situation is working in Pepe's favor. Mendel is doing what Pepe would want to do to Mendel, and that is to harass his mothers. So he's trading, Pepe is trading his tier 1 for basically mother goose. This is an equivalent of Pepe going out and killing a mother goose, because obviously mother goose and units they cost the same resources. So if you plop down 2 small proteins, that's a mother. So essentially Pepe went out and killed the mother because of these 2 unnecessary proteins, and he might lose this extractor, but this extractor is irrelevant because he's already, as you can see, he's going here and he's gonna build an extractor here. And he already killed it once, so he should just drop it. He's not gonna kill it again. Another thing is, actually, Mendel criticized me for that myself when I was doing it. You go here, you know, put your army there, and then this becomes completely open because you're trapped because of the rocks here. And as he also pointed out to me that you know, I killed the rocks and I went here, but it takes so long to kill the rocks that a human player basically gains a significant advantage, again, because you were on 4 mothers for And I wanna say right away that this game and the previous game against Based just showed to me that Mendel shouldn't be playing this hour of day, because I was watching the stream live when these games were going on, and it was probably like 6 AM or something like that for him. So you can see that here, that he's making pretty you know, mistakes that he knows not to make. And especially not his style. Like, if I do something like that, that's acceptable, because that's my style. I like to all in. But that's not Mendel's style. So this is unusual for him. Here Pepe gets greedy. Yeah, you cannot really do. You can't really go up here because there is the brush here. Well, I mean, you're gonna put some harassment on. I mean, you can go up there, but not in the situation where Pepe was in. He didn't have enough units to be able to confidently go up there and be certain that whatever's in the brush not to sponge. And he still building more revolvers, which I really don't like. Don't do build right some revolvers, a few revolvers, but majority of kill 1 unit. Oh, actually, Mendel has accomplished a lot more than I expected, but I think this is due in part of whoa. Wow, that is scary. Oh my god. Let's let it go. I never seen that either, you know. I never paid attention that there are projectiles. For me, it's always just pew 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 damage. That's all I see, damage on other units. I never look at the projectiles. But yeah, this is a lot more damage than I expected, and I think this is due to 2 factors, and factor A is it already has 5 refineries, that's very good. Factor A, excessive amount of revolvers, should be more tridents. Factor B, he shouldn't have went up there next to the brush and lose those couple extra units. They make a difference. And the last reason is that he should have moved one of the extractors from here. He should have moved it here. But yeah, still, I think this is favoring Pepe, and he's on 5 refineries against 6 Mother Goo. I think this is in favor of human player. I think you would need to have 8 Mother Goo here to be ahead. 5 is a really good amount of refineries for humans. They can do a lot, and he's going for 6. Greed is good. Yep, and here he gets caught again. And again, just look at how quickly the revolvers die. I mean, I love revolvers, but I saw this even in Dallas. I watched a recent game of Dallas. I think he's making the same mistake. Because again, the goal of it, tier 1 is human. Tier 1 is human right now, is a bit weak. But its function right now should be as a defensive ritual for your tier 2. Gladia is so cool. This is also a mistake. For Gladia, they don't do any damage because they need something to do. Otherwise they get caught off guard and then they just die. They're extremely good in large numbers. They're extremely good if something can protect them from attacks. But this is painful to watch. But even though he's making those mistakes and he's losing a lot of units to basically sending them to the wrong location, he's still doing pretty well for himself because of his enormous economy. And Mendel is also doing fairly well. I mean, I cannot fault him, definitely cannot fault him for his timing on splitting, because he's managing to maintain army and maintain his economy at the same time. However, and I'm sure even he doesn't realize that, is that Pepe is on 7 refineries and Mendel is on 8 mothers, and this is a definite advantage for the human player. And if Pepe did not throw away a lot of his units, and if Pepe was making more tridents, he would be in a pretty fantastic position right now, and I think he might even have this game almost locked in, you know. And yeah, another problem, I guess, that Mendel can't even take this spigot comfortably, but that's not that big of a problem. He can always move here. But going back to the thing that happened here, if Mendel did not bring his mother here, and if Mendel did not make those 2 extra small proteins, right now he probably would have been on about 12 mothers. So you know, that would have been perfect. You cannot make any more. It is perfect. This is a bit of a weak army for this. I think you should have howitzers already. Yeah, I remember watching this replay, this game actually. It wasn't replay, it was games, it was, you know, live. And I saw these moments, and I was like watching while doing something else, and at this point I was certain that Mendel was gonna win this game because of how few units Pepe had, and that was caused by him throwing a lot of it away. And at this point, while he's losing control over this side of the map, he should not have been going here. He should have been going here and placing more extractors over here and over here. Because your economy as a human is worth more to you than Mother Goose worth for the good player, especially since these two are gonna be trapped no matter what. And this is actually, I think, a hallmark of all the good human players. And Spike Monchi, Mister whenever he plays human, Dallas, Red King, they would actually do that. They would go right away. I mean, you don't have to send all your army. You can send just one unit, go one unit, place extractor here, place extractor here. Then, enemy's army moves there, you place extractor here, you place extractor here. You don't even have to wait for extractor to die, because your harvester can die. Like, if harvester was going through here, it would die. So, your economy would be shut down no matter what. The good units do not have to be pulled this far out of position, up to here, to shut down this area of the map. So that's why you do relocation of your extractors preemptively. You distribute them here instead of there. I don't know why Mendel moves now. I might go right here. I don't see a point in that at all. And like, if you watch a replay of Dallas, however, you will see that in the beginning of the game they do revolvers, a lot of revolvers, and I think they do an excessive amount of them, because if you go back to like 2 months ago or something like that, when Red King was just dominating all the good players, you would see that he was building a lot more tridents than Dallas or Red King are doing now. So I think that's a clear argument that early tridents are good. Even if you don't agree with my logic, just the whole success rate of those human players then and human players now shows that early tridents are good. But even if that, for example, is not true, somehow there is solid evidence to say that revolvers early game are good. You can go to a Dallas replay and you can watch Dallas, and even though he builds a lot of them early game, when it comes to late game, he does realize that he needs a mid shield for his tier 2 units, and he ramps up production of tridents in the late game. So that's another problem with the Pepe strategy. Well, it's the same problem that just if you don't believe that this is a problem in the early game, if you're, for example, if you're Pepe and you're copying Dallas, you're copying what Dallas is doing, and you don't trust some, slimy grey goo bastard telling you that, Dallas's strategy is suboptimal, then, you should still copy his late game, and the late game he ramps up more tridents. And I used a lot of words to say it in a lot of different ways, but bear with me. It's like 12 AM here, and I had a long bicycle ride and I'm a bit tired, so it might be a bit hard for me to express my thought. But tridents are good, that's all I'm trying to say. Because, yeah, I mean, look at this, look at the destruction those GU units have rained upon the revolver population. It's practically dead, and tridents, a lot more tridents would survive in this situation. And it's not like you would. Sorry about this snorting. And it's not like you can argue that revolver damage made a difference here in killing Gu army, because the brunt of the attacking force against tier 1 will always be howitzers, and to a lesser extent gladiators. I'm using so many ways in this game to just say tridents are good. And which is funny, since when I played human I really didn't like building tridents. Tridents are just slower, and that makes them feel less fun. I don't mean like slower like in moving speed, but they're less mobile when you require micro. They're turning around, speed is slower. So when you stutter step with them, or when you split them, they take longer time to split and longer time to stutter step, because they turn around slowly. But there's another important stats of a unit, not only speed and as in speed moving forward, but also how it turns around. And this is now 26 replay analysis of so far 12 minutes. So by the time I'm done with it, it's gonna be about an hour, 40 minutes. I wish this replays would allow to play them at speed times 2 or times 4 like in StarCraft. That would be very useful. Okay, so Mendel here has the same strategy that I saw Bike Crash do, and pretty much I think everyone does it against human artillery. You keep some protein in form of proteins, so you can run them in over the hills into your opponent's howitzers, and you can transform them into striders, or you can transform them into drovers. And drovers, I feel, and I haven't done it enough to be honest to necessarily say it conclusively, but I think if you're running into opponent's army of revolvers, tridents, and gladii, you probably want to transform into drovers. But if you're running into your opponent's howitzers, you want to transform into striders. And I think that's correct, but I also think it's a question of what should you be running in. Should you be running into the tier 1 and killing it fast and then chasing down naked howitzers, or would howitzer shots just decimate your army, so your transformation is actually hurtful for you? Because when units protein transform into units, the units are not full HP. And my guess is you need to go on top of howitzer and transform it. That's how I've been doing it, and it's been alright. It's a bit painful to transform units on top of enemy units because of they don't spawn with full HP. I like that. See? No, you cannot do that. And the idea behind this is that you transform in front of enemy units into drovers, so the splash would be perfect. The splash would go through the units that are all bunched up like that. They will go from one direction. So the splash is pretty much the effect of splash is maximized. But you cannot do that. You cannot do that because it's perfect for howitzers, and howitzers is what you're afraid of. If you weren't afraid of howitzers, you would not need the untransformed proteins running around. You need, you could have transformed the units right away, especially with monitors. You could say that it's beneficial to keep small proteins as small proteins because they can go over heels and they would be unnoticed. But since you have monitor and all that stuff, I don't think there is a point. And I mean, you might think, well, this is exactly what happened. Mendel's splash was perfect, and Mendel's splash decimated the opponent's army. And that is true in this situation, but that would never work against someone like Dallas, because Dallas would have this army there, and he would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more howitzers barreling at those poor drawers that are all bunched up in one place in front of enemy's army. So this would all be dead. If this was Dallas, this army would be there, and this Mendel's army just would die without doing practically no damage. So no, you cannot do that. You have to. And that's another thing. You want to transform the proteins because the proteins themselves do splash damage, and that's great. You attack from, for example, you attack from front, and first of all, your enemy's tier 1 and Gladiae army is attacking the proteins instead of your army. That's decent. The howitzers are also hitting the proteins, which allows the rest of your army shoot at whatever the forefront of the human army is. And you're also doing the splash damage. Your proteins are doing splash damage, and then they're transforming. Splash damage is important part of what makes this strategy good. That's my opinion. And so the correct attack passageway would be not always from a front. Sometimes you just want to go in the back and just transform right on top of howitzers. But even then, you want the proteins to be on top of the howitzers, so they would do some kind of splash damage, because the fights like that tend to be explosive. So while I understand where Mendel was coming from, and him trying to take directional advantage of drawer splash, I think with the extra army there it would die. And I think if you're facing this top level human like Dallas or Red King, this would not happen, and these howitzers would kill your army. And that has been the problem with Pepe's strategy all game long. And I think that, as a recommendation, Pepe and all other players should play the game called OSU. This is a rhythm game where you try to get your mouse speed up. It just gets you faster. Because Pepe has been losing his army bit by bit all game long. He never really made a big fist, big iron fist of human army. And that was a mistake of an attack. He did what I said he should do, but he should have recognized that he has to find units to be doing that. But it went well, it went surprisingly well, and I think if he would have just waited a little bit and brought these proteins with him, this would be turned around. And we're gonna go back here a little bit and look at it again, because Let's look at it again. Problem number 1. No tridents. So your enemy's army goes right for your valuable thing. Problem 2. Howitzers are in the front. You cannot do that. You just can't. Don't do it. Howitzers should be ready. I didn't even notice right away, but there is another problem that he's been moving his gladiator while this has been happening, and that was messing with their AI, it seems. They seem to be like resetting an attack or something like that. But like, I understand what he was trying to accomplish. He was trying to move up his gladiator up front so they would protect his howitzer that he has here. But if you want to do that, you actually, well, first of all, you need to think about this kind of situation before the attack even starts. So you have to keep your howitzers at the back at all time. But second of all, if you actually get stuck at this position, your howitzers are in front, you don't move gladiator up front, you move howitzer in the back. That's how it's done. And you actually never want to move gladiator up front, because gladiators shoot while they move, so you always want to be moving them backwards. So GU army cannot get continuous shots up on them, so they miss some shots because they have to catch up with the gladiator. I mean, Mendel did so many mistakes here in this game, and this game is still going on, and I think a lot of people would be inclined to look at the map and say that Mendel, that this game is still going on because Mendel plays GU, but that's not true, because there are certain fundamental mistakes that the human player, Pepe, has allowed to happen throughout the game, and his most glaring mistakes, he just keeps repeating, is his lack of micro, I would say, and his decision to skip tier 1 altogether. Tier 1 is very important. Tier 1 is, as I said, very, very important to have, especially tridents. Not especially tridents, exactly tridents. You have to have tridents. So if anything, this game to me looks like human is overpowered. Yep. And I mean, you might say that it's a joke, but you shouldn't be able, as a human or as any race, to well, maybe the GU race as a swarmy unit, you shouldn't be able to lose so much tier 2. And again, tier 1 I have no problem with the plate Spike-Man-Chi. Spike-Man-Chi goes heavy tier 1 and he loses tier 1, but he constantly harasses, makes units for economy trades. But this is just outright losing tier 2 to your opponent's tier 1. And he shouldn't be allowing this to happen over and over and over again. Go in there for some reason. Let's start with let's do mecha. So yeah, pretty much what I was talking about. You cannot do it like that. You cannot transform it into throwers here. They will just die to howitzer shots, and that was one howitzer If there was more than one howitzers, they would die as soon as they spawn. You have to spawn on howitzers. That's what you have to target. If you're not transforming on howitzers, do not keep those small proteins around. Transform them into army right away. You still have to flank. You still have to think about how you how you're gonna attack. But that's why the passageways are here. You go through different passageways. You split your army into several bits. You go through different passageways, and you surround the opponent's army. But you do not transform small proteins on top of your enemy army until it's for a purpose. And the purpose is to do splash damage, A, and B, to get to howitzers themselves. Because all other combination of units, the good player generally can't deal with. The unit they have problem with is howitzer, and to a lesser extent the bomber. But the bomber is, well, A, it's not in the game, not in this game, and B, I feel that if you scout bomber, you can deal fine with it using tempests. Long recording. Alright, I'm actually gonna cut it here because this, you know, maybe fast forward a little bit because I think this is pretty clear what's going on, and you know, Pepe is reaching a certain you know, point where a human army becomes, you know, this critical mass of human army. And where tier 1 units of Goo cannot stop it. And there is a point in every game, and you know, that's not necessarily, you know, a balance specific thing. But you need to plan ahead as a Goo player for when that point comes. And you need to have enough bank to do tier 2 or to do a purger. You cannot stay on tier 1 forever. Just fine. I just don't want this to be too long, because I feel that the ideas that this is one of the most helpful replay analysis I've done so far, because it's actually, you know, relevant advice for humans predominantly. God, you did not do that. Again, Pepe gets punched so hard because he's not moving so hard. And his position is pretty poor as well. Should be protecting howitzers a bit more. You have monitors, you cannot allow good players to just go around you like that without any kind of punishment. Without repositioning your units to defend your, you know, artillery line. Alright, I'm gonna stop it here. I don't even care how the game ends, because it's not relevant. What's relevant is, you know, let's sum up. Build tridents. I say build tridents early game and build them up afterwards, but if you're not, then definitely build tridents at a later game. Make sure you pay attention to position of your army and position of your enemy army, so you know you are defending your units that are important, which are first of all howitzers and second of all gladii. Thirdly, as a good player, don't transform your units in front of enemy units. It serves no purpose. If you want to do that, just transform them right away so they can regen to full HP before engagement. But if you keep in the small proteins around, their purpose is to kill enemies' artillery. So make sure you go and attack enemy artillery with them. And yeah, maybe there are some other advices here, and yeah, like I mentioned, mistakes that Mendel did early game. You know, if you see anti-heavy sentinels going up, do not commit to 4 Mars or all in. Yeah, I think that's all. And I wish I would find a way to cast replays and recap replays, and in a way where they would be a bit more shorter. The recording would be shorter, because a lot of this video, what takes up a lot of time, is me trying to say the same thing in a different way. And I hope the more replays I cast, the better I will get on it. And you know, I apologize that I'm not better at this, but I'm new to the whole casting thing, and I will try to get better. And the more I cast, hopefully the better I get. Well, thank you for listening, if you're listening, and if you listen, it probably means that your name is Pepe. So yeah, hi Pepe. Alright, good night for now, and I will try to cast more plays tomorrow, and maybe in a week or so I will play some practice games, and you know, cannot get Mendel top 4, cannot allow Mendel get top 4 instead of me. Need top 4 for favorable group settings, maybe. I don't know, that's so hard, because that dash is there, and that dash is a beast, and a lot of players who go into Texas are beasts. But I definitely don't want to get that dash in my group. Alright, anyway, bye bye, see you later, and I hope someone learned something today.